respected chair of the session, co-chair, and all my colleagues who have presented before me and will be those who will be following after my session. I will be presenting just a few thoughts about the Quran and the technology, basically the advances in the technology. So Quran and advances in technology, just the few aspects about this topic. My discussion will be after the scientific facts collection, theory development and all, because technology is the stream of the light science, which is understood and then put into the physical process for the application of various systems in the universe or the human life, or making the human life better. So in this, while preparing this topic, I have just taken the few aspects of the Quranic verse, few Quranic verses, which are talking about that how the command and the words of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is implemented in this universe, and how the human being, the mankind, is acting in the universe, and all its activities are getting stored and will be accountable. That is what the Quran says, that we will be settling your account quickly on the day of judgment. So only these two areas I have taken for my discussion. There are the various other areas about which Quran says how the process happens in the universe. So I'll be keeping myself just restricted to these two sub topics about the Quran and the advances in technology. I'll be just quickly.
Volume थोड़ा कम है, थोड़ा mic के आप थोड़ा close रहें.
You are advised to be powerful in your voice.
जी अब बेहतर है. जी, so Quranic verses about technological phenomena, that will be the one aspect I will be touching upon. Second will be the what all the recent advances and the future trends in emerging technologies. Especially, I have not taken from all the field of technologies, but very few which are very much relevant to the two areas what I have taken up from the Quranic verses. One is the communication, command and the network, nano sensor, then AI and data science and analytics, IoT and the DOT, computational biology and quantum biology, and the analysis, and then finally the conclusion. So just a few points I will not be repeating, because all the speakers and those who have presented their papers, they have already covered that. And I also believe, and this is my strong conviction and my approach, the Quran is not the book of science or technology, but it is the book of guidance for mankind from Allah. And to understand that better in a with the certain physical aspect around us, then the verses of Quran guide the mankind to ponder upon the microorganism to ultra mega galaxies phenomena and the events happening around him, so that with the mankind or human being conviction about the truth what Quran described will get comprehend and he get the marifat ilahi. That is what the objective of this paper presentation here. Various field of the technology I'll be touching upon in that. So first about that everything in the universe belongs to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and He is the only worthy of worship. That is the verse in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah 255. Here the very key word about the technological aspect is that whatever is there in the heavens and the earth, everything belongs to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And here belongs technology, belong terminology is basically Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is having the know the things, command the things, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala only drive the things, and only His command control the operation of the every micro to the mega activity happens in the universe. second aspect from this ayat is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully knows what is ahead of the people and what is behind them. And I think that today the computational biology and the nanosensor network had proved that we can deduce the thoughts developing in the people's mind from the neuron to the cell level. That's what I will be giving. So this is the another pointer towards that technology development for the better understanding of this verse of the Quran. That the second one is that Allah knows, Allah has the keys of all unseen. That is the another aspect. And we know that the technology of encryption and decryption, cryptography, those are the technologies are helping us to understand this aspect. And the second from this ayat is not a leaf falls, but that he knows it. This is the another that pointer to understand within by the technological development what is going on currently, and no grain is there within the darkness of the earth, and no moist or dry, but that it is in a clear record. Most important, Allahu Nuru Samawati wal Ard. That is what Allah is the light of heaven and the earth. So how the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command get work to the from the cosmic level to the membranes or the cell of the living being. So Imam Ghazali, he mentioned that the divine effect takes place in the ninth heaven, urge passes to the eighth heaven, and Al-Lahwa al-Mahfuz, and it goes to the planetary system. Angels set planet in action that leads to the operation upon the elements, meteoroids and the rays, and that rays and the meteoroids shape the living beings, means change their action. And he has given the example, whenever a person suppose love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and want to write the God or the Allah, then his thoughts coming into the mind and the brain producing the signal activity, and that signal activity come to the fingers are holding the pen, and pen is writing that word. That is how he has been given the example. So taking that approach, let's say that we all know that how the communication command and the networks are placed in the modern world. And human body, earth network, and the body nodes and neurons are the very much physical representation of the communication command and the network system. Human body is the classical example of this very sophisticated and the based communication network, because there the continuous coordination takes place among the various organ system which is necessary to maintain the biological stability in the human being. So if we take that what Imam Ghazali have mentioned about the word of Allah, the command of the Allah from the heavens, that is the cosmic network. This has been already talked about, the galaxy level network, then the interplanetary network that comes to the earth. Earth have the again the various living being and the system. From there, then human being is the one node of that earth, and the human being himself is consist of the node.
Sheikh Haroon Safdar Sahab, you would be kind enough if you kindly conclude within 5 minutes.
Okay, so inshallah ta'ala. So the point here is if we see that the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the science theories, practical data, and the technology that all agree to that for any network there should be the only one command. There cannot be the multiple command, because whenever there are the multiple command, then the system have to go into the priority basis, and in the priority basis that may be missing the action and the outcome and the target. So here what the point mentioned in the Quranic verses in the previous slides I mentioned that everything is commanded by only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and This comes through the various phases of the network, come to the neuron level, and the neuron will bring into the action. As we know that electrical signal will get converted into the chemical, and the chemical signal will be driving the organ system, and finally it will come to the mechanical action, that whenever we want to move our hand, hold, or when we want to take the action, just go and capture something, or if you want to protect ourselves from some danger physically coming towards us, so quickly our hands and the eyes come into action. That is basically from all this network system it comes through. This is what the modern communication command and the network is in place. We have the satellite system, and again the various satellites from the different countries, they will be talking to each other, and each satellite will be connected to the specific geography, and again on the geography it will be the specific area. From the specific area, again there will be the multiple node, and again the multiple node, there may be the at our cell level, there may be the different membranes and the neuron. This is the another point which I may be taking the little 30-second or 40-second. The point what I want to bring here is that we all know, and this is what it's been, the technology and the science is talking, that there is an electrical signal which comes on the sinoatrial node, and that is the cause of that will be taking the life to the human body. But still the theories have not developed any data or conclusion how that electrical signal is initiated from the sinoatrial and what is the source. And here is the important point what I want to my understanding and my stand is that it is what the word of the Allah comes to the people, and that is what giving the life to the people. Because our heart is just like the oscillator, and oscillator will be working in a stable and a smooth way only when it is having the positive feedback, and it follow the theorem which says that its closed loop gain should be 1, and the angle between what comes in and what go out, that should be 0 degree or 360 degree. But this feedback is not visible, and without that feedback there is no oscillatory motion, there is no stability, there is no possibility to meet this requirement. So that heart beating is all the directly as per the word or the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second part is that what I'm coming, and I will be quickly, that the human being is responsible for all its activities, and these activities that all is getting stored at the very small action level. Even when the people think, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, whatever the thoughts develop in your mind, in your heart, that all the thoughts before it comes to your understanding, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. And that is because that the human body is the combination of the sensor, nano sensor, which works on the certain signal, and that signals are all being controlled by, or that signal will be emanating to the outside world and through the
Sheikh Haroon, Safdar Sahib, kindly conclude within 1 minute.
okay.
The allotted time is over.
Okay. So now the point here is that we will be accountable because everything is getting the recorded. We are the composed of the biosensor, and this sensor will be capturing the data, and the nano sensor which will be of the physical form. And the another important point is that the DNA system in our body, that is all storing the data, and its capacity is really the overwhelming. Only 1 gram of the DNA can store 455 into 10 raised to power 15 gigabyte, and that is good enough for storing all the each and every movement action of the human being in its own body. And the technology and the scientific research already proved that the DNA lasts for the hundreds of years, and it's a high density as the number I put. Another important is the parallel computing and its scalability. Scalability, the important aspect is the whatever the data earlier was there, when you overwrite in the DNA case, the earlier data will not be erased, but it will store the data over it, and that all the data will be maintained. Now, when we come quickly within the 10 to 15 seconds, that the future technology which is leading us to understand, yes, will be accountable and we will be knowing all our actions before us, because the computing biology, as I mentioned in the beginning, it is all been, people are able to capture the sensory action at the molecule level, and the quantum biology is been helping us to capture the signal, analyze that, and process that. And all the living being is having the DNA, so data will get stored. When Quran will say that Sari ul Hisab, and so we know that the playback of the stored data is much faster than what the process of storing the data. So that way, the developing technology is all leading us to understand in the
Engineer
better way.
Haroon Safdar
Yes,
Sahab,
yes, just give
are
me
you
the
listening?
5 seconds. Give me the 5
we
seconds.
are
5 seconds, sir.
going
Just
ahead 2 minutes late. So
Just
kindly
5
conclude.
5 seconds I
Half
want.
minute.
Okay. So my point is the Quranic words or the verses of the Quran and what is the technological development is taking place, demonstrating the phenomena, practical application, that all are in coherence. We need to understand, and that will help us to get the insight, better understanding, and our faith into that will become strong.
Sir, your time
And
is
so
over,
yes,
sir.
so there is no conflict in technology development right now. Only thing is that we should be putting the binding to the application of this technological development within the moral sphere for the benefit of mankind. Otherwise, that will be leading to the fitna wa fasad. There are so many things like genetic and the coming of the metaverse. If it is not been put into the sphere of moral sphere, then it may lead to the fitna wa fasad. So I thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also thanks the Idara-eTahqeeq-o-Tasneef for giving me this opportunity. Jazakumullah khair.